Alright people, so today what I'm going to be talking about would be team fighting, Minecraft team fight philosophy, 1v1 philosophy, yada 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 yada. And I'll clarify some misconceptions, I'll clarify some things about the game, and I'll try my best to explain how to play the game properly according and I'll do my best to explain what I know about team fighting, how I team fight, and what I'm going to do my best is to actually explain how team fighting works on Stoneworks, at least for that matter, how it should work on in theory, how it actually ends up working, and the way Shiro slash Zamo's Union in this case would like to team fight. So as you know, right now I think Shiro has proven to be the most dominant PvP force, and I would say that is not it's not for nothing, right? We happen to have the best combination of actually individually performing PvPers, as well as a good combination of shot callers that have probably a total together experience of around 20 plus years of Minecraft PvP. Before you ask why am I qualified to speak on this topic, I have been involved in this sort of community for a while now, ranging back from old school HCF such as Shotbow, Hardcore Teams, Kohi. I played Arcane, when it was out for a bit. I've been in top factions. I've also played Civ for quite a while, which is a server pretty much when you die, there is massive consequences. You can pretty much get permabanned. So I've been PvPing for a while in this community. I have large PvP experience on most versions, and I can say actually quite confident in all versions. I PvP heavily on 1.5, on 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, and then later on the newer 1.9 versions, and currently right now on the newest one, so Stoneworks. So I have a good range of experience and philosophy on how to, fight and play the game to a high level, because I've played it at the highest level possible. I've been in one of the arguably best factions that ever was in HCF. And I also have the pleasant, experience to I also have the pleasant experience to have had led some factions. They weren't the best, but we performed good for who we had. I could say proudly, right? So, with that said, let's talk a bit about I kind of want to break down this video into a few sections. Actually, let's say this. What I'm going to essentially talk about here is what are the basics of a team fight. It's just not going to cover basics of PvP because I think that should be covered already by better people than me that are better at individual combat than I am. And I will actually try to stay to my area of expertise, which in this case happens to be team fighting, and it happens to actually be it happens to be team fighting, and it actually happens to be leading team fights, right? Okay, so when you start about a team fight, what the first thing should be running through everyone's head, or when about to engage in a team fight, is quickly to do a situation analysis, right? So I know that may sound really confusing to you, yada yada yada, but what I would want to do is I would actually want to provide you with some examples of how that may be done in game and sort of some of the decisions I've been taking, right? Let's say right now we're about to engage in a team fight, right? So this is HCF right now because unfortunately there is like no good server I can display on, but I'll quickly try to demonstrate some pretty much basics. What most people do is like pretty much biggest mistake everyone does in every video game, or pretty much everything you do in life really, is people autopilot. Autopiloting means that you do things that you have learned, mechanics that you've learned from playing the game, some habits that you have built, and quite often we tend to build bad habits. Gaming in general happens to be all around good habits. For example, if you're playing a shooter or a MOBA, checking your minimap, pre-firing spots as an FPS player, yada yada yada. Well, you can actually build bad habits on Minecraft as well, which is just going in and partially just left clicking for no reason. Like for example, you just go in, you start bashing on a guy, and you just do it autopiloting, right, for no apparent reason whatsoever. So with that said, let's teach you how to essentially not autopilot and how to play team fights properly. So with that said, I need to die here real quick actually to demonstrate it in a better perspective. So let's see if I can just quickly die to this guy. Come on, kill me, motherfucker. Kill me. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's talk about how to not intentionally or potentially autopilot. So we're going to start with your first step. A first step of team fighting for anything and how a team fight begins should be a situation analysis. I'll actually break down team fights in a minute with proper video examples from point of views from good players that I've seen that do this. And I'll also break down this from bad players, right? For example, let's now start to approach a team fight. So the first thing, as we said, you want to do is you want to have a situational analysis, and that is in with the purpose to actually analyze the situation of what's going on and to try to predict any potential enemy movements. Minecraft is quite a simple game with simple mechanics, so most of the times you can predict anything that happens in it, and you can actually be thinking a few steps ahead of your turn or of your opponent. Let me demonstrate now. So let's say we're about to engage in this fight here. So in this server, obviously you see gold armor right now and you see diamond armor. So if I am to do a credible situation analysis, what I would quickly do is I would quickly try to figure out what my objective here in this fight is, right? So in this case, I would obviously see that it's a guy who I can easily quick to, like, drop the numbers down of the enemy. So essentially, if I am to fight those two guys, the guy that I should be focusing should not be the diamond guy, but should be in fact the guy with the gold slash leather armor in this case, right? Because he can die quicker, he can trim down the fight, and that will be less threats for me to do it. So when you're engaging in the Stoneworks fight, you can start just quickly, like let's say like it's about to happen, and you see a couple of guys, you need to start immediately thinking. Like you're thinking, who has a shield? Like if someone has a shield, obviously focusing him down is not going to be a good idea because you're going to take less damage. So if someone doesn't have a shield, for example, that's going to be a quick, easy target that you may want to call out. Like for example, like it's obviously going to be stupid if I engage this guy, right? You want to be going for the leather because it's easier. So if there's three guys with a shield, you want to be going on the guys that don't have a shield. You may have a look who has access, right? So if you know he has access, that means you can combo him better. You can have a look who's running two swords. If someone's running two swords in your soft hands, that means he has KB. So if you're fighting someone across ledges or high areas, you can immediately minimize the threat by identifying that this guy probably has a KB2 sword that he's going to utilize against you, right? So with that said, what you want to do is you want to quickly do a situational analysis and see what's popping. Let's say there's 50 guys right now here, right? All 50 guys here. You're going to quickly be like, okay, if I, what's going to be the best approach in this situation, right? With the inventory of items I have, what should I quickly do, And the more you play the game, those decisions will become easier for you to make. But let's say, for example, now there's, a team fight, there's 20 of us and 20 of them, and they have the high ground. Well, obviously going up to the stairs like this and getting potentially pushed off, it's a bad fucking move. So what you actually want to do, for example, let's say you're potted, team fight's going to happen, you want to try to quickly get up as quick as possible, which would be putting higher, putting behind. It doesn't matter, you want to understand and have at the back of your mind that these people already have the high ground advantage on you. And if you ask why it's good to have a high ground advantage, you can push people off, you have a KB2, you have an area to claim it, and you are into a disadvantage as an attacker, right? So essentially, I'm not making it here, guys, to overthink it. It's just a good step to have. The better you become at the game, the easier those things will be to do and to sort of break down and make. But it's just, I want to open your eyes that there's more to anything than just pure autopilot, So now that I've taught you about analyzing, the reason I'm trying to analyze you in Stoneworks team fight, and the key thing you need to understand here is you need to understand the terrain. As I said just a second ago, just analyze if it's a high ground, analyze if it's a low ground, if it's a tunnel, have a look for sand because potential sand areas, maybe potential fault traps, and just have an idea and keep a mental note that, for example, there's a hole here, right? So if I'm fighting on this side, I need to be careful so not positioning myself around this hole where I'm going to get pushed in. So what I want to do is I want to play my back against the wall where if I'm getting KB'd, I cannot get KB'd inside, right? So that's step number one, is analyzing terrain and analyzing potential threats, right? Okay, so now that we've gotten threat and terrain analyzation out of the way, we're gonna dive down and talk about, particularly here, I don't want to talk about HCF and I don't want to talk about team fighting in general because it's so situational and it's always gonna change. You're always gonna change depending on the players you have and the composition you have, you're running, and the inventory and and loadouts you're running. Like the game is really situational, right? If you think I can teach you everything about team fighting in this one video, it's gonna be impossible. So what I would try to instead to do is give you some rule of thumbs to follow that will always end up being to your advantage when playing this game. Okay, now let's talk about the next step. Let's talk about fight initiation. So let's talk about the most basic thing is how do the fights get initiated? Well, it's pretty simple. You have a shot caller who shots in the call and goes, and tells you, for example, he can tell you to hold, he can tell you to push. It's down to him. Most of you do not need to worry about those decisions, right? If you're asking why, it's better for there to be one bad call made by the shot caller. Like let's say the shot caller says, let's all go down there this hole and commit to it. So let me explain now why you should have only one shot caller who is really good at it, or you should limit the shot calling to, a really low amount of people, maximum 3, I'd say. Like let's say right now this is a massive fight and I'm the shot caller and it's a bad decision to go down the hole, but I say, everyone, let's go, and everyone's trying to go down, we trap, we fight, blah, 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 fight happens, right? If everyone follows up, let's say this is a bad decision, right? If everyone follows up in the fight, we actually have a chance by being together, committed and aggressive. We actually have a chance of beating the opponent down in the hole, right? Because we're all committing to it. And if we happen to be better, at the game and end up doing some, clutch moments and perhaps quick drop someone or something, we have a chance of winning despite of my horrible shot calling, right? However, if only half of my people go in and the other half decide not to, we already have lost for sure because we are not fully committed and there is already no absolute chance to winning, right? So you understand why you should always be following on every call that the shot callers make, regardless if it's good or what, if it's good or bad, right? Because if it's a good move, it's a good move. You win off it. If it's a bad move, it can still be turned out to be a good move from individual performance. So it's better for everyone to commit to it, because otherwise the battle is already lost because of the bad shot call that guy has made. Because the most important thing in team fighting is shot calling and leadership. So technically speaking, if he makes a bad decision, your leader, you have already fucking lost. So it's better to 100% commit to his decision and try to outplay it and overcompensate for his bad decision than for everyone to do whatever the fuck they want, right? So that's why you should have a shot caller who calls the decisions, because it ensures that people don't argue and everyone commits. So that's when it comes down to it, it's quite a basic thing to understand. That is why always your first responsibility and your first rule of thumb here should be to always follow your shot caller's lead and actually do what the fuck it says, right? So next step is, let's say the team fight is about to happen, right? And I'm gonna show a video to explain this topic better. But this is on HCF, right? It's on Velt, whatever, garbage server. But it's a good team fight, right? Because the HCF community, they have really evolved past the years and got really a lot better at team fighting, and smarter, right? This is Down versus Voltage. Two really popular factions, really good factions as well. So let's try and break down what those guys do different, and to kind of see how the team fight plays out real quick. So, is there voices? Yeah, there's voices for this music over, right? So obviously the fight has been initiated, everyone has committed to the fight. I want you to notice how the fight is playing out right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, even though this is fast click PvP, it still applies to slow click PvP. I'd say it applies even more. And I'll explain why. So right now, our guy here, he's not playing the team fight the best way he could, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I want you to look at this, all of you that are watching this, and I'm gonna pause. You can unpause whenever you decide to, and I want you to answer me the question. Like, pause the video, and I want you all to ask yourselves, what are they doing right here, and what is this player doing wrong? Okay, I'm gonna play it again. So, what I want you to immediately notice is how the team fight, he's not focusing down a person. Right, let's say like this guy, obviously it's a focus, right? Because he's broken up in the stack. So let me actually explain this with paint. It will be way easier for this matter, right? Let's say team fight happens in this little alley. All right. So step one, we have identified our condition, right? So we have an analysis. We see it's a fucking corridor, right? There's nothing more to it. It's a straight line corridor where everyone gets to smack each other. There is no high ground to claim. There is no trouble. There is no traps, no TNT. People can't edit. So you know it's a pure, let's say, 20v20 team fight, right? Let's say that's the one team, not the second team, right? Let's do red. Let's do blue, right? Now, okay, amazing. Okay, now let's talk about this from here on. Okay, let's say the short cover initiates a team fight, right? And everyone decides to go forward. The enemy responds accordingly to it, and they decide to go forward. So we have a clash here, right? At the middle of the fight. And the team fight happens around here, right? So what you can notice in this video is that everyone there is stacking and holding the same area. Was this the cuff in this situation? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're holding because of the cuff, but regardless, you want to choose an area to hold and defend to. Why? Let me explain why. Let's say the team fight starts. Let's say everyone here decides to push forward and everyone like mingles against each other, right? What happens is it becomes a massive unorganized fiasco where it's every man for them fucking selves. There's no structure to it. There is no balance. It's hard to, like, let's say you're like you're here, like I'm aggression, I'm like a team fighting here, some guy, and then some guy goes, oh, I am, I'm Elko, I need help, but he's fucking dead, and now you have to start turning around 180 to try to find where the fuck Elko is, and it's all confusing, and you have no idea what the fuck is going on. No, it's confusing, right? So if you look at even historical battles, like if you type in like line battles, right? If you look at historically speaking, because Minecraft is a fucking melee game, right? That's 9 battles along shield wall battles, right? What you have is people facing each other off, right? Like this sort of movie Hollywood idea where everyone would go in and like bang, 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 smack each other everywhere, 300 spins. It's bad. No, people will be structured, try to be structurally pushing together, and they will structurally try to fight each other, right? And to stay as consistent as possible. Obviously, that in Minecraft is not possible to a full extent, right? Because of how the mechanics work. Obviously, it's not going to be real life. One hit does not fucking kill you. So I want you to notice, to overcome this Minecraft disadvantage, what they do. See, he holds a line. He doesn't go back and forward. And every time someone separates from the stack, we're going to call the stack where players stack, which will be the middle, right? Every time somebody separates from the line, they focus them down. But I try to hold their power here. See, they're going back and forward, 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 right? Notice how this is happening. Goes back and forward, bars out of the back. What they do is they give you effect. It's not important what the bars do, right? Ignore this. It doesn't matter to Stoneworks. It doesn't apply. See, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. What he's doing here wrong a bit is he's staying a bit too back. He could be getting a few more hits because he's limiting his damage. Could be getting a bit more involved, getting a few more damage in. But see how they're trying to hold in. And what's happening is as the enemy gets drained, one side will prevail against the other, right? So now we're going to go to the second step, which is called momentum, right? So I'll explain the momentum. Let's say everyone is fighting here like they are, right? Like this. It's a massive like fucking RNG fight here in the middle, right? Everyone's like bang, 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 bang and forward. What will eventually happen is either someone will die, drop, someone will be low, and one side is going to start pushing backwards. Now, your responsibility as a player, let's say here you're Mr. X, and you're fighting Mr. Y, right? You're Mr. X, oh my god, and you're fighting Mr. Y, right? Let's say Mr. Y starts panicking and starts running off back to his teammates. What do you think your course of action here should be? Should you chase Mr. Y, or should you remain in the stack? Well, the answer is, my friends, you should remain in the stack. I'll explain why. Let's say Mr. Y starts running back. He probably, especially on Stoneworks, most likely has a way to actually run back to you. So what you're essentially doing in this big fuck of fighters hearing is, every time you try to chase Mr. Y out, you're essentially turning what is an uneven fight because he's leaving. Look, he's gone. He's no longer there. Fuck. Oh my god. Look, Mr. Y, he's no longer there. He ran off, right? He's here now. Mr. Y is here, right? So essentially what happens is now in this massive stack, you happen to have one more member on top of it, so which means your damage increases. Now imagine each time somebody runs from the stack, you actually run after him, the fight in the middle contains, the fight in the middle stays even. You don't want that. You want to be abusing every single advantage you get. So essentially speaking, what you want to be doing is the moment someone pushes off from the stack, you want to immediately start targeting the remaining, Mr. Ys that are left in the stack, right? So that's how you want to be playing, because if everyone starts doing that, what happens is a big massive mess, and most likely, especially against good players, those people will survive. So you're not going to get the kill, and you just left an uneven fight. However, the way fights are won is by actually draining out your opponent out of their pots and out of their materials and out of their supplies. Which leads me to the next step, which we're going to call now momentum. So there will be a point in the fight where one side will start prevailing over the other. That will usually happen, as I said, from a bunch of rotations, because if one or two people back off, that's time that they're not doing damage in the team fight, right? So essentially speaking, what you should be doing, you should maintain to stay in the stack. So in the moment it happens, it's that what I call momentum. Why? Because it's the momentum that the people in the stack, because when people start leaving, they're going to start feeling pressure, right? Let's say nobody has died, people just backing up. They're going to start feeling the pressure because more hits are going to be landing onto them. So that's the moment the panic ensues, because you are taking a consistent amount of damage, and one of a moment your brain starts going, oh shit, I'm getting smacked here, where the fuck is everyone? So that's moment of panic ensures. And when people start going, oh, I'm out of pots, I'm low on pots, I'm taking damage here, the shot caller then usually starts feeling this like small feeling of like pressure and pain, and that's the moment usually that they go like, okay, shit, everyone back off. And the moment backs off, that's when your sure shot caller should go like, everyone fucking chase and apply max pressure. So everyone who is playing a bit more passive here on the stack at the back needs to go fully commit to the front. Right? And we're going to push in, and we're going to use the momentum of the push that we got from the moment where they feel weak and drained to actually finish off the opponent. And you're going to actually understand how much psychological power that has on decisions. And it's actually the #1 way we win fights. And if you watch my video, that's exactly what happens. I'm going to demonstrate as well. You're going to go, if you go to my video, I want to see what happens is we push in. Okay, we push in. See, they're starting the pressure. Everyone's backing off. And what we're saying, we're screaming. We're screaming to everyone here. Like, I'm screaming, like, push, push. Why? Because I felt the pressure coming down on them, right? We stacked up. See how they're running. And what happens now is they're all running like a bunch of vaginas instead of killing each other, panicking. And there's people left behind that we're cleaning up. And it's 3 kills. So now you actually get the moment to chase down that Mr. Y, which in this case is this guy, and get and rack up more kills. See? Nice, easy, and simple, right? And in even a more absurd situation, as you can see at this part of the team fight, where I said, again, everyone to push and to call. We were fighting for ages. The pressure was off. I noticed helmets popped, and I knew they were getting lower than we are, which means we were getting more damage in. So I screamed for everyone to chase out here. See, I saw no helmet. I ran past Trinity. I'm screaming, everyone, go, 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 go. Right? And in this case, everyone here from Aurora started running and panicking and moving back, right? So we now have identified now what momentum is. Momentum is the moment the enemy lets go or relieves the pressure from the stack. That's the moment you need to accelerate your momentum and start cleaning them off. Now we're going to talk about some team fight composition, how you should be positioning depending on what type of player you are, and about how to react to momentum, how you're supposed to react, right? This is how you should not react. This Stoneworks video is how you should not react. Let's say we engage you, right? And you back off and you start running in directions like I am. You're easy to pick up because we are the aggressors. We're together. We may be low on pots, but it doesn't matter. It's a people, everyone forgets this. When people start running, they forget that the people that they've just been fighting for 30 minutes, right? They most likely do not have pots as well. Like they chase us here, and we actually played really good here because we had traps. But look at the end of the fight. I have no boots. My armor is in 2 hits, and I have like what? Where is it? I have like 2 insta health pots, and that's it. And like I have no armor, right? So if you're running and you're low, that means your enemy is most likely also low. Not probably to the extent that you are. It could be, you could be all running back because somebody died and your leader is bad and panic. But what you need to realize is the enemy is back as well. So instead of just running, panicking into all directions to get back to the base, which is here, right? Like, oh, everyone's splitting and you just allow for multiple people to gank up on individuals and get left behind or that were tanking the stack at the front. What you should be doing is you should be kiting as a team. Like, let's say the stack was here. You need to realize that you're starting to lose and move the stack to here. Then move the stack to here and move the stack to here. Instead of everyone running for their lives, everyone needs to stay together as one and just move. Like, let's say we're pushing here and you guys are running like the reds are running. You know, KB people back, bang, 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 everyone run. You move to this spot. You wait for everyone who has been left up here, you know, everyone who's been left up to that point. You wait for them to catch up to that point and you hold this line until everyone from that point catches up. And if they need help, you go and you help them, right? Which takes practice. Let's say stack gets broken again. You run to this point, you fight for this point. Everyone's back safe to this point. You're going to probably take some casualties, but it's fine. Then to this point, and then to this point, and then back to the safe space. That is how you kite as a team. And that's how you prevent initial deaths. And that's how you prevent things like this happening, where it's us ganking up on individual left out players, like Mr. Scarecrow, like look for this, for example, right? See, now imagine that all the people that are in front of him run of this, like, because there's like, you're gonna see in a minute, there's like 20 people. Imagine that if right now on the stairs they were all here slowly waiting for him to come back and pushing us back and allowing Mr. Scarecrow, who, you know, like let's say this are the stairs here, right? Mr. Scarecrow, who is buying here, they actually allow him by holding the stairs to come back, run past them, because they cannot run past all of you because you're like, KB warning. The blues can't just walk through everyone, right? And you're allowing Mr. Scarecrow to actually go back while the people that are less affected by teamfight defend. But instead, what happens, is they leave him. There's no one helping them. Like a few guys attempt, I think, like a few, 2 or 3 attempt after they see this happening. But everyone else is running like a pussy. And you're saying they don't have numbers, but do they not? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that's good what they're doing. They actually played right here, but not to the extent that they should have. See, all these people, what they're doing now, they're all running and panicking when they should be holding this and pushing us backwards and being more aggressive. They're just letting us get away, and there's obviously people that are left out. And now see, look, everyone's already left this point where we're here, and everyone's run all the way back. So they pretty much suicided Mr. Cactus, the bird here. Because what you're going to see about is going to happen. We're all ganking up on him like wolves. No one's there to help him. Man drops. Ganev's all alone. Right? So the right way to react to this pressure is this. The next thing I'm going to say is how you should be fighting in the stack. So this depends on your proficiency ability. I know most of you people have given yourself a tier list, like let's say you're S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, right? If you're an S plus tier, like I'm going to actually break this down to you in 2 cases. I'm going to use tiers here because it will be easy. I don't believe in them a lot, but they'll be very easy to, BSC is the same, easy to analyze, right? I will explain how you need to be positioned. So, if you're an S tier PvPer or an A tier PvPer, you need to be positioning at the front of the stack. That means that you most likely can do the most amount of damage because you click good, you have the best aim, you're the fastest clicks in 1.7, and you're the best PvPer, so you need to be at the front, making a difference, taking the hits, and delivering the pain, right? If you're an A PvPer as well, you need to be at the forefront. If you're a BC PvPer, what you want to be doing is essentially what this guy here is doing. You want to be in the fight to the point where you're supporting like the A tiers, but you want to be like, let's say this is the church we walked in that war. Let's say this is the church we. Oh my God, what's going on, boys? Yes, there we go. Let's say this is the church we walked in, right? I'm gonna draw it like this. Let's say this is the church you want to be. let's say the fight is happening on this side for us, and it's their side for them. S, you want to be here, and A, you want to be here, right? That's where you want to be. You want to be doing the most damage. And if you're B tier, you want to be exactly behind them, like popping up, popping back, doing damage. But what you're doing is, and a C tier as well, even a bit more behind, like let's say like here. I'm going to do it in red so it's easier to see. So like S tier, A tier, front. Let me explain this better. Sorry, boys. Like let's say S tier, A tier, front. Then what you want is you want to have the B tiers in the middle-ish and the C tiers like in between them, a bit back. Why? Because those guys are going to do the most damage at the front. They're going to make the difference, and you can reinforce them, and you can be doing damage as well while not exposing yourself to the risk from the enemy, right? So that's kind of how to get an idea. So you need to come to your own judgment and see how good you are at the game, and realize if you need to be facing the enemy top level PvPers or you want to be supporting a team from the back. Now, where are the S plus tiers, so like our best PvPers? I'll actually tell you where they should be. Let's say this is the fight. The S plus PvPers need to be here and here. Why? Two reasons. Chasing those opponents down when they separate the stack is good on Stoneworks because players are about a quick drop. What I was saying is that for the average PvPer, the average player, you need to be here. If you happen to be given the job of a, let's say like a sniper, let's call it like a Persian sniper, because you're going to snipe them out of the stack, you can be at the front, and let's say Mr. Y again runs back, you can actually chase him and get the team easy kills because you're confident and strong enough that if you go past this line, you can actually survive the enemy damage input, right? And come back safely to the stack. That ensures that. But that's a very small amount of PvPers that can do that. And the only reason you want to be going between this section here and this section here is to ensure that you have pots at all times. So if something happens in the fight here and your team has to retreat back, you're actually going to be high on gear and be able to maintain the safe retreat of people. Because I'm going to say this, let's say you're running back and you have like our best PvPer. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Paul Blart help you here getting fucking gangbanged by like 200 million people? Or would you rather have your best fucking PvPer jumping in and cabling them off of you and helping you out, right? Well, he has to be able to do that for him to have pots. And also S plus tier players can also get a good idea of the fight, and they can make sure if someone else is flanking, they can deal with them on their own, they can get people that have overpushed on the stack, they can hunt those down. It's just the best place to be. S plus tier players should not be in the stack. So now we have broken down ideas, and yeah, those are pretty much the basics you need to know. So analyze the situation. Let's go back to them. So let's gonna say analyze, right? Stack and then kite. Ask. We're gonna call it ask, right? We're gonna be analyze, stack, kite. Kite means to run back as a team, and that's what I mean by here. Ask, analyze, kite. And analyze, stack, kite. Analyze, stack, kite. Analyze, stack, kite. So what you want to do when we go to the next team fight, what happens is you want to be analyze the situation to immediately keep in mind any potential dangers you may involving yourself in. You want to be, stacking in the middle and holding off, not chasing everyone alone. And when you start kiting, you want to be kiting as a team. Nice, easy, simple, and clean, right? And last but not least, I'm gonna say comms. With comms, things are very easy. Let's say with comms are very straightforward and easy and simple. Let me break them down for you. So let's say I'm gonna role play here real quick. Let's see. Right now, you're fighting, and you're clearly trying to, like, let's say the team fight starts, right? I'm gonna talk about comms. And when we're fighting in the stack, you know, we're going back and forth, and I see that someone right now in the stack that we're holding here happens to be pushing back, or let's say get stuck in the lava here. What you immediately need to do, you need to immediately call out his name. For example, like 8 block, A block, A block, 8 block, A block, A block, you know, or like I'm best in A, I'm best in A, I'm best in A, I'm best in A, best in A, best in A, best in A lava, best in A lava, best in A lava. And the reason you want to be repeating is this is when it's all chaotic, you know, and it's really hard to be giving comments. For example, like WHX, 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 you know. Vic, 357, 3579, 3579, Vic in the lava, Vic in the lava, Vic in the lava, Vic in the lava, I'm critting him, see? Information, that's information you're giving. You're saying that someone is in danger, he's in the lava, and you can clearly target them down, and you're giving information to your team. You don't want to be giving information that's not relevant, so you want to be giving information that's valuable. So valuable information would be someone who's low, missing a helmet, someone who is out of stack, so you can be like, Nick, overextending, he's out of stack, everyone, back down and kill him, back down and kill him, back down and kill him. You know, that's a good call right now. And then everyone will back from the forward stack of the imaginary team fight here and they'll actually come clear the guy, right? Now, getting help. So my name in this case is BC Caveman, right? So I'll be like, BC Caveman 90, BC Caveman 19, I need help. Where? At the back of the stack, next to the church. On the pot loadout, west side, BC Caveman. See? What you want to be doing is you want to be giving information that is correct, accurate, nice to understand, and you want to be repeating it. Don't worry if someone is actually getting mad for you for repeating comments like that, then they're fucking bad at the game. You want to be consistently calling out things that are important and that are happening. Obviously, that shouldn't be like, oh, I'm hitting castle. No, right? You need to be given information. Like, let's say you're PvPing, and you see something happening, you can be like, Nick on fire, Nick not longer on fire. Nick logged out, Nick AD, logged out, dead, he's dead. I'm on castle. Castle is kiting, maybe we can chase. Should we chase this? Shot caller? Yeah, we can chase? Okay, let's chase. I'm trying to cobweb castle. Castle on the cobweb? No, I missed him. My bad. Castle lava. Put out. I'm putting after me. He's on fire. I'm chasing. Do we still chase this? Is it safe? Okay. Okay, so we're speeding. I'm speeding. Can you guys cover for me? Thank you. I'm going back from the stack. I need to eat. I'm putting out. Okay. I'm coming back in the stack. I can fight. I'm going to castle again. Nice. I got castle. And that is an example, right? This is a pretty good example of what you want to be calling out and to what extent you want to be talking. You don't want to be a mute, you want to be feeding information. It's also important to feed information like this because then your shot caller is reading this information. He's like running around analyzing what the fight is going on and he's fighting. And then I, as your shot caller, for example, can make the right decisions based on the information I'm getting. So if you guys are just quiet and not giving me any information on how the fight is actually going, you should be like, oh my god, I'm shooting on this kid. But let's say like, oh, we're winning hard here. Yeah, jelly bean. Yeah, jelly bean, I'm trying to push in the water. For example, right, I could drop quality shot, doesn't matter. So like, it just comes like this, help your shot caller to analyze the situation and to break it down in a good manner, right? So now let me show you an example where, let's say this guy's my teammate, right? Zero mob. You'll be like, you notice that something is happening, be like, oh, Zero mob's getting prod on. Zero mob, please help. And then you immediately go and you peel for him. Goku 70, he's chasing Zero mob. Coordinates negative 50, 70, negative 50, 70. We're on the west side. Zero mob's getting chased. So by Goku. He's hard pressuring him. Guys, you need help. Now we're running east. I'm protecting Zero mob. It's a Goku 70. See, you can nice, easy, and simple give call outs for people to respond to you and come and help you and do what matters the most, right? And last and not least is you need to actually consider sometimes if that person is worth saving and if that is worth separating, you know, from the stack, and that you will learn is more advanced that I don't want to be talking about. I want to die to this guy. Actually, I'm gonna demonstrate it. So this time now you're getting clarity. Like, you have to come. You're like, oh, BKKV man, I'm out of helmet. I'm purling south. I'm running south. I'm running south. Negative 20, 130. Negative 20, 130. I'm running south. Down the road. Down the road. I'm getting hard focused by one guy. But I'm really low on potions. I need help, guys. I'm gonna die. Yeah, guys. Again, south side. Yeah, 200Z, X0. I'm on 0300 right now, almost. Running south. Keep running, he's chasing me. Okay, he stopped shooting me. I still, guys, thank you. Right? Nice, easy, simple comms. Nice, easy, simple team fighting. A nice, easy, simple way to understand stacks. So I hope this was useful. I know it's a bit cringe with the comms, but I have to demonstrate, right? Otherwise, it's like... Otherwise, you're not gonna get the point without me demonstrating. So yeah, hope this has been proven useful. In the training session, I'll give you the chance to actually ask any questions you have. Thank you, guys.